Josh Duggar's family allies are finally feeling outnumbered. By author Simon DeLotte at Ox 16, 2024 category Josh Duggar. Unfortunately, the number of Josh Duggar's family allies is not zero, as one might expect, given the situation. In 2021, a jury of his peers convicted disgraced former reality star Josh Duggar of receiving and possessing child sex abuse material, CSAM. He is now serving out his prison sentence. Some members of the Duggar family have strongly condemned Josh for being a predator and more. Others are clearly sympathetic towards him. Where do the Duggars stand? Who are his allies among the family? Anna Duggar, his wife? Unfortunately, it is not news or a surprise to anyone that Anna Duggar has remained a steadfast ally to Josh Duggar. The warped teachings of their fundamentalist church teach her that there are no alternatives. Don't miss the latest Hollywood gossip. Get your free Hollywood gossip newsletter and never miss the latest gossip and news. This goes beyond remaining married to Josh despite his cheating, his past crimes, and of course his CSAM conviction and prison sentence. Their religion teaches her that she must obey her husband as part of the natural order of things that their God ordained. To betray Josh would then be to betray her faith. Anna has even spun conspiracy theories, blaming President Biden, who was notably not yet in office when Homeland Security raided Josh's place of work, among others. The Duggar family has insinuated that Josh's past scandals were exposed due to spiritual warfare, blaming the literal actual devil for exposing the truth in 2015. Anna, at least, seems to still be clinging to these beliefs, visiting Josh as a loyal wife while he remains in prison where he belongs. Jessa Duggar. Not all of Josh's molestation victims have come forward. But years before Josh was downloading child sex abuse material, he was performing sex abuse himself upon 5 young girls, including 4 of his own sisters. Jessa came forward in 2015 to identify herself as one of the victims. Initially, following Josh's arrest, Jessa and husband Ben Seawald put out very ambivalent statements about awaiting the trial's outcome. Jessa and Ben's public statements have emphasized sympathies for children who are abused to make CSAM. They have had considerably less to say in public about Josh himself. That may have less to do with Josh than it does with keeping the peace with other relatives. Jill Duggar. In contrast to Jessa, Jill Duggar has been outspoken about Josh Duggar and more. However, like Jessa, she identified herself as having been one of Josh's victims. In 2015, she insisted that she was sharing this of her own free will. However, as time has gone on, Jill has admitted that she felt enormous pressure to speak out at the time. The insular nature of the Duggars and its TLC-based celebrity status meant that protecting the family image took precedence over Josh's victims, just as covering up his crimes had when he was a teen. In December of 2021, Jill affirmed the verdict of the jury that found Josh guilty. While Jill is seemingly at odds with various family members, it is clear that she is not one of Josh Duggar's family allies. Jinger Duggar. Immediately after Josh Duggar's arrest, Jinger and her husband, Jeremy Volo, condemned child abuse. They did not, however, rush to condemn Josh as he so richly deserves. However, Jinger is not one of Josh Duggar's family allies either, and not merely because she doesn't see eye to eye with various of her family's teachings. According to her book, Becoming Free Indeed, Jinger had not spoken to Josh in 2 years at the time of the book's publishing. Jason Duggar. Unlike some of his sisters, Jason Duggar has neither avoided the topic of Josh or posted vaguely about him. Jason supports the verdict against Josh, even noting that Josh could have received a harsher sentence. However, he also affirmed his love for Josh. In an Instagram story post, Jason declared, "I will never stop loving my brother, regardless of what he does. Just as my Savior has forgiven me, so I have forgiven my brother of his wrongdoings." This is a Christian message that is also precisely how their religion encourages its members to overlook the wrongdoings of evil men in their midst. Together with husband Austin Forsyth, Joyanna released a statement following Josh Duggar's well-deserved conviction. "We agree with the judicial system's verdict, and we are thankful for the men and women who work tirelessly to protect children and help prevent child sexual abuse material," the Forests affirmed. "Our hearts break for all CSAM victims." Additionally, Joyanna has called for prayers for Anna and Anna's children. Joy is not alone in this sentiment. Jim Bob Duggar and Michelle Duggar. With the sole exception of Anna Duggar, no one has seemed more supportive of Josh than Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar. This toxic couple have visited Josh in prison. It is widely believed that Jim Bob financed Josh's defense. And, of course, Jim Bob orchestrated the cover-up of Josh's initial crimes against his sisters, paving the way for him to evade justice until, finally, he committed a crime that his father couldn't obscure. Of course, Josh is also a victim, from his religious counseling as a teen to the cover-up that hid his adolescent crimes. Josh grew up in the perfect hunting ground for a budding predator. Jim Bob didn't really do him a solid. Josh Duggar receiving special privileges in prison. Report by author Tyler Johnson at Sep 30, 2024 * category Josh Duggar. Is Josh Duggar receiving special privileges behind bars? That's the claim being made by one insider after the convicted sex offender was transferred to a renovated prison dorm at the Seagoville Federal Correctional Institution in Dallas. As you're likely aware, Josh is serving a 151-month sentence on charges of receiving and possessing CSAM, child sexual abuse material. And to say he hasn't been a model prisoner would be putting it very mildly. Josh Duggar's life behind bars. Prison officials have disciplined Josh for smuggling contraband into his cell, including an illicit cell phone. And he's allegedly created a chaotic environment in other ways too, such as signing autographs for his fellow inmates. But despite all of this, it seems that Josh has been receiving preferential treatment from the prison's administrators. Josh Duggar's special privileges behind bars. According to a new report from The Sun, Josh recently moved into a remodeled prison dorm with special privileges. They finished painting the walls and getting flowers put into Dorm 6, where Josh lives. It's been turned into an honors dorm, explains one insider. The source adds that in order to qualify for this special housing, inmates can't have any disciplinary actions in a certain amount of time, have to have a job, and must sign a code of conduct agreement. Josh appears to have received special treatment, as he does not meet these qualifications. Josh apparently doesn't work, but he is getting a degree. And they're counting that as an exception so he can stay, the source claims. According to the rules, he would be disqualified from living there because of his SHU time a couple of years ago, but they've decided to waive that for him. It's unclear why Josh would receive special treatment, but the insider seems to be suggesting that it's due to his celebrity status. Thankfully, appeals judges are not as easily swayed. Josh Duggar's latest legal defeat. Josh recently filed an appeal with the Supreme Court in an effort to have his conviction overturned. Thankfully, the court rejected his appeal. And so, Josh will remain behind bars for another 9 years or so. We suppose he can take some comfort in the knowledge that he'll be spending those years in a freshly painted dorm.